child. I say, come sisters, come and take back your child. This great.
Hello. Look at everybody present today. All the people that not run away from work, they here. All the people there. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Historical moments.
Welcome. Very historical. You got me started already. Important people are present today.
Yardea.
Important people are present today. We are all here. It's a good thing that everyone is here today. Eva, thank you for mentioning that it's historic, because at least we're coming together to end the year together. That's important. Some people decided to be kings and leave. Now they came back into the storehouse. But people, hello, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to GBC Women. Look how I got that just laughing. Welcome to GBC Women. Where I told her something today. I gave her the word where I can get to other people there.
Anyway, and I give it right back to her.
Like I said, I am a little under the weather, so you hear me sniffing a little, but that's okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to GBC Women with Words. It's good to see all of you here. This is the most important platform in all of Facebook. I don't know how you will manage. We are the most important platform with the most important people. All of the guests that come here, they are extremely important. As long as you come to the platform, you're important. We have a very important guest here today. But before we go into anything, we're gonna introduce ourselves. We're gonna start from that beautiful woman with the red looking, pumpy up, nice looking curly hair. Introduce yourself. Let's go around the table, around the circle.
I am Eva.
Welcome, Eva. Thank you.
AKA.
I say beauty.
There you go.
Unapologetically.
Yeah?
Unapologetically.
Unapologetically. Hi, I'm Agatha Joseph.
Known as
Badass.
Yes.
This show is going to take off right tonight.
Ass is not a bad word. It's actually another name for a donkey. We
and we all have one.
In the Bible. Let's go.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I am Michael Padmore, for those of you who don't know me.
Okay.
And what you're known as?
Black Santa.
Which name you want used to know?
Black Santa, Mikey.
Black Santa. Okay, yeah, we'll do Black Santa tonight since it's Christmas.
The last time I heard a man introduce yourself. No, don't say Husky. The last time I watched the show, I heard a man introduce himself as King Michael.
You lie.
Yeah.
Yes.
You lie.
Yes, I am a king.
Who crowned you king?
I am a king.
He's a king.
I am a king.
You king?
And I have a whole harem too.
King Michael, welcome everybody. Welcome to this show. Of course, let me do the most important thing that is so important to me, and that is to call my name. I am Glendy Jane Jonius, and we're excited to be here together. Everybody here tonight. It's amazing as we go to the end of the year. The four of us together. I think the last time we were together was in November? Was it November? When were we together for? Was it September?
Yeah, September for the 1 year.
For the anniversary. On the anniversary, somebody what's her name? I forgot her name. Her name. 1010. She's on the page. I finished forgetting her name. She said y'all need to hurry and do another show so we can meet together to laugh. I tired with laughing on Facebook. I won't see y'all to laugh. I said, how you doing? She said, I'm not doing good today. I said, why you not doing good? Because we can't see you to laugh. Oh, they are making her laugh outside. Oh, but anyway, we're here this evening. Of course, this is not the last show, but this is December, the month of December. A lot of things have been happening. I don't know, anything major happening. Not we'll talk about it at the trending, but anything major that's happening historical that we want to talk about now. Anything You can think about anything. The page continues to be a bomb. Continues to be. We miss us kinks. Hopefully they're going to be coming back from wherever they are from sabbatical soon.
They're taking care of their kingdom.
We are coming back. We have a show that's set for next week, Wednesday, the 21st.
Us kinks.
So we'll be doing, and that will be our we're going to be having, check this out, people. We're going to be having, even though it's called Us Kings, we're going to be having an array of ladies. Woo! Because we want to get the female perspective of us kings, you know. So we are going to bring some queens on, and so yeah, so it will be exciting. Please join us. It will be an exciting time indeed.
Yes, I'm trying to. Now I see our guests here. Akata, how you been doing?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. It's busy time of the year at work. And I do my children in Liberia, so that's been a busy time as well. I'm excited. We're building 60 beds for children that have never had beds before. So
awesome.
I'm really excited about that.
Amazing. Hopefully we can. I mean, that's something we all need to encourage you into what you're doing, to say thank you. I mean, when you make sure we go live to see this bed, we gotta. I mean, it's a big thing. Imagine the children ain't lay down bed. I tell you with their cool English. Imagine the children ain't lay down bed for a long time. They come
long time.
Ever.
Never.
I'm telling you.
And there's so many of them.
You guys making the beds in Liberia?
Say that again.
You guys making the beds in Liberia?
Yes. I'm all about having people earn a living. So yes, all of the beds are being made by a local carpenter. Yes.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
If people there they pay, so now they can be biased. All the way me and Akata can be here. They can't say we on fleek. So the CEO today, my cousin on fleek. We on fleek too.
What did they on fleek? I don't want to be on it because I don't know what it is.
We look darn good. We looking excellent.
Darn good. You're on fleek.
I want to be on it too.
Yeah, we want to be on fleek too. What happened? You see me, Akata, we're not fleeking. We can be on fleek. I want to can be on fleek here. Anyway, it is called
Fleek cannot be spoken in the first person. Fleek cannot be spoken in the first person.
Whatever.
You can say I am. You can say someone has to say you are.
Okay.
Okay, hold up. Auntie. Auntie, Glennie.
Yeah, ma.
You on fleek.
Thank you, baby.
I got
we
that.
On fleek together.
I'm your badass. You on fleek.
All right, folks, we're getting ready to start the show. Our guest is here. Like we said, we're looking forward to this show today. Everybody needs to invite your children, invite your significant other. I like that we're doing this show today because it's like a winding down moment where we've been on the hustle and the bustle, and we've been doing all. And so we're ending the year to say, in whatever you're doing, you need to make sure you take care of your mental health. Which is extremely, extremely important.
You mentioned something. You said what was buzzing? One of the things that's buzzing is the death of Stephen Twitch Boss.
Yes.
That is buzzing indeed.
Suicide.
And
shocking.
Yeah. And I kind of thought about it. I thought about it like, what better time to have our guest today? To come and talk about mental health when we just had such tragedy yesterday, exposed to all of that, and then also talk about some of the stigmatization in our Liberian community. I have some personal stories about that. People have experienced, my families and other stuff, where people who don't understand, they say all kinds of things. So it'll be good. We want to now bring our guests, our very important guests on this very important platform with all important people, 4 people there, all the baby people that are here today, and that's small thing.
You know why I'm laughing?
Yes.
Because I said exactly that, right, Eva?
Yes, you did.
All the 4 people there. Welcome to our guests. Hello, Tanya. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
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 Welcome to GBC. I always got a little secret. This Tanya here, we tried to get her before and she didn't want to come, but she's here today. And so we're excited that she's here today. I got to try to go there.
I didn't want to come to try to get here around the holidays, and I had holidays.
Yes. But we're glad that you could make it. I mean, yes, actually she was traveling at the time and couldn't do it last year. And come to think about it, it was around the same time.
Yes, it was around the holidays.
Yeah. I look at the schedule today. I was like, oh, okay, we didn't get her last year this time, but we got her this time. So that's a
Great.
good thing. But welcome to this all. I'm sure you know that this is the most important platform.
Most definitely.
So welcome. Tell us a little bit about who Tanya Young is. Tell us about you and what you do. I want to say that Tanya is a psychotherapist. So it is important that we mention that she's Liberian. We're proud of her. I think this show I think it's one of our passion about mental health. Would you say, Agatha? Because we've had 3 counselors on talking to us, 3 or 4, in fact 4, because we had a social worker on also. Yeah. And so we have you tonight. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay, so as you mentioned, I'm a mental health professional. I've been in the field for about 20 plus years. I recently, about 3 years ago, founded my own private practice called Peace Be Still. Mm-hmm. And for that was to step into a space for, persons of color, the immigrant narrative, to address all very unique issues that we don't usually tend to address in the mainstream because we don't see it reflected in people like us. And we kind of whitewash our stories to water it down for our audience. So that space was very much needed with our, unresolved trauma and whatnot we experience from different aspects of life, be it from our Civil War background to, ongoing gender-based violence, all of those things that kind of become ingrained in our culture. Just to have a space to talk about that and be able to support people through that with my own cultural lens. So that's where I come from. My focus is on community mental health. I have a master's in counseling psychology, but my focus has always been community mental health. That's where my passion lies. That's where I get all my drive and when they say, what is your purpose? That is where my purpose is. I feel it, I live it, and I'm thankful to be in this space.
Good. Well, I always like to ask when we see people, like when people specialize in different areas, I'm tempted to ask you, is this something that you wanted to do growing up?
Definitely not. I always tell people psychology and mental health found me. When I started my journey, my post-secondary education, I always wanted to be, and I told Kofi Woods this when I met him in person, I wanted to be a civil rights attorney. I wanted to persecute all the war criminals. I wanted to go after all of that good stuff, right? So my interests had always lied in political science and psychology. And that's what actually my undergrad, studies were in. But life happened, and I had to take the path of psychology more than the whole law thing because we're immigrants in this country and the people are not correct. So we had to go into the path of least resistance. Okay, we couldn't go sit down for the bar. Instead of for the bar, you get your people to defend all of that. So we had to go into the path of least resistance. And honestly, once I did that, it came so naturally. And I took my first job, I can remember, as an addictions counselor in a maximum security prison in Howard County, Maryland. Ooh. So this time, about 20 years ago, small Jew in a maximum security prison. And if I tell you, like all just went off. All my connections I made there were so authentic, I can go back in my mind and just like all the teachable moments. And I knew this was my life's work. Working with that population, the marginalized, the disenfranchised, the misunderstood, you name it. I felt it. I knew within myself, this is what I had to do. Everybody from the clients to my supervisors that I work with also saw that. And I can always remember Dr. Craig, if you're still alive and out there, he said, Tanya, this is natural to you. Get the education to push it. You can do this.
Amazing.
You know.
Amazing. I have one last question, and then I'll turn it over to my co-host. Um, did you think was there any stigmatization with you, a female, wanting to become a psychotherapist? Because sometimes people have the connotation when you are. I experienced that. I think at one point in time I worked in psych nursing, and people say, "Oh, when the crazy nurses work in psych nursing." So it's like, did you face any of those stigmatization, or anybody thinking like, why would you want to become a psychotherapist?
I would say no, but then again, I worked in Maryland. I worked in, like I said, I worked with the disenfranchised population for the most part. I worked in forensics, right? So I worked in lockup for the most part. So definitely my training grounds were battlegrounds. I mean, no judgment passed. You get what you get, and you're happy to get the help, you know? But I think that built my mental acuity. It also built me as far as what type of spaces I can enter and what type of populations I can work with. Because, sometimes you go into things like, I will never work with people who murder. I'll never work with people who hurt babies. I knew that being fresh and green, they told you like bring your biases up front. And those were some of my biases. I can't work with people who rape. I can't work with people with this. And my dear, when I tell you I've worked with everybody, with unconditional positive regards from every last bit of those categories, that killed your stigma and killed your bias. Because at the end of the day, everybody, and that's just the nature of us human beings, you need some type of support. You need someone to stand with you in your deepest and your darkest hour. It doesn't matter if that person is female, if they're young, however you view them, you need somebody. And it kind of like, your biases, it transcends your biases.
Okay.
So no, I have not experienced that.
All right. I got that, Michael.
Sure. Okay. You want to go, Michael, or you?
Oh yeah, sure, I can go. So I guess my question to you is, when should you seek out a therapist? Because some mornings I wake up, I feel like I should, and some mornings I wake up, I feel like I shouldn't.
Right. Well, life becomes unmanageable. Certain things happen, and we can get the support from our family, from our friends, and we feel that's good enough, right? But if it's an ongoing issue and you've sought all those supports, you've gotten the family advice, you've gotten the friendships, you've done all the self-care you can do, and you still feel like, this is empty, I feel unsupported, this is not working, seek out some professional support. Seek out some professional support. And I think sometimes the misconception of therapy is people feel like there's going to be forever and ever, amen, kind of situation. In all actuality, it's not. I mean, I'd love you to have me on retainer, but at least 8 weeks is the most you're going to work with me. Okay, we have a treatment plan. We're just not sitting lollygagging. You come in with a concrete issue, I have to provide concrete treatment. Insurance will pay for 6 to 8 sessions. I have to deliver evidence-based practice. 6 to 8 weeks, I have to come up with something that you're going to walk away feeling better. So I'm not going to be a crutch in your life. I'll provide you with tools and skills to be able to, address those issues that you're having. And I mean, sometime down the road, if they resurface, feel free to come back in. But I think sometimes that's that misconception about, seeking therapy, that it's going to be a lifelong crutch. Well, really, it isn't.
So yeah, here's a really good one that I'm sure a lot of people want to ask. Why should I not feel guilt or ashamed to go to therapy or to seek out therapy?
Okay, you shouldn't feel guilty or ashamed, because your mental health is just as important as your physical health, right? If you're experiencing some physical health symptoms and the people say, oh, Mikey, you have some cardiac issue. Will you feel guilty to go and see a specialist, a cardiologist? Definitely not. So the same mindset we need to shift around when it comes to mental health. If I'm going through some issues that has now become dire and critical, and I need to see a therapist, or even so a psychiatrist, and get put on some medications because now I have a chemical imbalance, there's no shame in that, because I wouldn't think twice to see a specialist if I have physical health issues. So the same when it comes to mental health. I think changing that narrative around, mental health is on the same as our physical health, you know?
Okay, go. You can go ahead, Agatha.
So I have a statement. I always like to use myself for an example. I go to therapy. I am not
Mhm.
crazy. I am not cracky. I don't have any issues, but I believe in taking care of my mental health as well as my physical health. Just like I go to the gym, like I go see my primary care, my cardiologist for my blood pressure, I see a therapist. I just like to say that because sometimes for us in the African community, and it's not just Liberians, I say it, African, meaning African and African Americans as well, there is that stigmatism
Mhm.
that you're weak, especially for a man, if you go to therapy. So I always like to put a face and a person so people see that I am okay, but there are some things that I need a specialist to help me through. So that's my statement. But my question for you, Tanya, is you brought up something earlier about your things that you may have had issues with early on. Um, you talk about you not working with murderers and things of that sort. How does the homosexual um, population? How do you feel about that? And what was your take on it coming from Liberia? We're so homophobic.
Mm-hmm.
How was that one of your population that you didn't want to work with? Was it one that you did want to work with? Did you have biases either way? And help us understand why or why not.
Honestly, when it came to homosexuality, I never had a bias there, not for a minute. And um, I do understand, like you're saying, coming from a very, homophobic upbringing and background. But then also, I think it also lines up with age. You know,
Mm,
I came of age in the States,
so
right? So I came here at 17, right before my 18th birthday. So a lot of things that probably what the older generations consider taboo and whatnot weren't taboo because these were our peers. This is what we interacted with. This is what we were exposed to. So, not really on my list of, nots or shouldn'ts or couldn'ts. Like I said, yeah, there were some biases about because things like trauma and sexual abuse and all
right.
of was in a way very personal for me. So that was a definite bias that I had to work getting through, that and getting into that. But I'm so glad, Agatha, you did make the mention of like putting a face, normalizing this whole thing
Yeah.
about, I seek therapy or whatever. I always say that to my clients. I'm like, your therapist has a therapist. Shout out on
Yeah.
Mondays. So yeah, I have my therapist. Because life happens. We all go through our own traumas. We all go through difficult periods. We need somebody to assist us. We need some actual tools to make this make sense. And I straight up tell my therapist, look, we do the same thing, okay? So I can BS you. I need you to cut me down to the chase. I
Yeah.
need you to be brutal with me. So let me speak that schmwa, get through to it, and get to the work, Because sometimes we all know how to say the right things, right? We know all how to start everything to be put together, and we can get into the whole twitch thing later. How sometimes the exterior and what's going on the inside, we know how to wear that mask really well.
Yeah. Actually, that was my next question because as a lot of us, we watch Twitch from So You Think You Can Dance. That's when, we were introduced to him and fell in love with him and we voted for him and we, follow his career. We watch him get married and have children. So for me, and I need therapy. Honest enough, my session was on Wednesday, and I brought this up to my therapist. Why am I having such an issue with it? I didn't know this man personally,
Mm-hmm.
but I've interacted with him, via social media throughout the years. How do we cope with such a loss? I mean, it's personal yet impersonal. How do
Yeah.
we cope with that?
Yes. And I think that the one of the biggest things we can do in coping is extending ourselves grace and understanding that people, we are multidimensional. And usually people get exposed to one dimension of us.
Mhm.
Mm,
You may, if you're lucky, see two. Depends on what context you deal with me in, right? So,
right.
especially with our celebrities, we see them in one dimension. You're either an actor, you're a dancer, you're a comedian. So it's just this, and that is all we see,
Yeah.
right? So even I was having this conversation about your people like your Robin Williams and stuff. Is your
Yeah.
inner It's entertaining for me, make me laugh. Think about Anthony Bourdain. Oh gosh, I'd love to travel to
Cover
beautiful
the world. Yep.
travel
Yeah.
the world.
That
And
was a
how
shock.
depressed and how can you do, but it's that one dimension, right?
Yeah.
And usually it's that career we see, so we
Yeah.
see professional selves. We don't get to see the struggles behind the scene. So
Mhm.
that's having that compassion and affording grace, that at the end of the day we're all human. We all have our silent struggles. All have our daily battles that we may not openly share with people who are not in our circle, you
Right.
know. So sometimes when things like this happens, that just, I think, sometimes brings it back to us, like the reality of being human,
Mhm.
you
And
know.
before I turn it over to Eva, I want to say since yesterday, the littlest things when I'm driving, you know how you get annoyed, someone's going slow or they didn't put their signal light on or whatever the case would be. I don't know about y'all. When I drive, I'm a beast. So I get easily frustrated and I'm screaming at you and but since that happened, I've stopped myself and it's only been 2 days and I pray that it continues. I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what this person is going through. You know, I don't know how their day is going. I'm just going to be patient and I'm going to drive this 20 miles in this 55 until I can either pass them. So I'm learning to do that. And I just, hope that there's a way we can be taught how to be accommodating, be more
Mhm.
understanding, be more compassionate. But
Yeah,
from Twitch's loss, this is what I've started to do. And you know, I hope
yeah,
it continues.
yeah. And you're right, Eva. Just extending grace and checking on everybody. You know how you'll see those little memes, oh, check on your strong friends, or
Hmm.
wishes they'll say, oh, check on your happy friends. Check on your friends, period. Check on
That's
them,
it.
period. It doesn't have to be classifications because, like I said, sometimes some of us wear masks better than others. Check on people. Hey, I was thinking about you today. I try to do that. And sometimes we get caught up, like Linda said, in the hustle and bustle of life. But
Yeah.
sometimes people just like, for some reason, it might just cross your mind and be like, okay, let me send a text. I'll give you a call after work, and then it becomes dinner. It becomes helping the kids do homework, and it becomes, and then before you know, I don't. And then you wake up one day, you see RIP, the person picturing everybody Facebook profile, oh, no ma, and all that thing going on. So before you hit that RIP moment, just check. I was just thinking about you today. No biggie. Reach out if you want to, but I just said hi. I just want to say hi.
Yep.
You know?
Eva.
Oh, I don't know if you guys have gotten delve into our Liberian community and how, the stigmas or so. I was off for a minute or so. Have you
We
guys?
talked a little bit about it, but certainly go ahead.
Oh, okay. My question is, your connection to the Liberian community, especially with mental health. I know in the beginning you were talked about, especially with the war that has happened in Liberia. A lot of us, are displaced, you can call it, or um, still haven't resolved a lot of issues with the war. And I was just wondering your involvement in that and what advice you have for people who are still going through some of those traumas, but having connected it to mental health and getting the help that they need.
Yeah. So just talking about this. So Liberia has a population of approximately 400 million. I mean, 4 million. And out of that 4 million, it's estimated that about 400,000 of those people have some form of mental health disorder. And 130,000 of those may suffer from severe and persistent mental illness. Okay, so your severe and persistent mental illness are things like schizophrenia. That's what we call crazy in Liberia. When you see people outwardly responding to internal stimuli, we say they're talking to their head, they're talking outside their head.
Mm-hmm.
That's your schizophrenia with psychotic symptoms. So they start to respond to things that are going on within themselves. Usually they're harmful. I mean, harmless. You see them, they're by themselves, they're not harming nobody. People, I think, if anything, they're more victimized than perpetrators, you know. And then you have people with the bipolar disorder. So where your highs are extremely highs and your lows are extremely lows, you know. So you're dealing with the manic and the depression there. And then we have a large group with PTSD. And that comes from our Civil War background, the things that we have endured, things that we have seen, either being primary victims or secondary victims. Okay? And so you take this layer, we write like onions. We have so many layers. So you take that layer that was not even addressed, we didn't even touch it, you know? And like you see, say Eva, then we got displaced, right? Then either we came to the States, went to Europe, went to other African countries or whatever. We tried to move on, to get over it. We never really addressed it. So this thing you talk about, Mikey, with therapy and all that stuff, ain't nobody was doing that. People just trying to survive, correct? And forget what had happened. Doesn't mean it went anywhere. It just stayed right there. That was just your first layer. Then he added onto it Ebola. Okay, then you add on to it ongoing systemic poverty and everything that comes on with poverty. Okay, and then now you add on the not so long ago COVID. So it's just piling up trauma over unhealed trauma. The least bit of things trigger us. We talk about it. You know, the man killed his wife, the boy killed his mom, the boy killed his son. We talk about it, and then on to the next. And you see why it's so easy for us to forget? Because remember, the first layer was never addressed.
Right.
So we just become this society of piled on trauma and triggers and not knowing how to seek help. So you have atrocities. They'll come, they'll make Facebook for a week, hugs and prayers. We'll do the GoFundMe, we'll do the visuals. And by 2 weeks max, it's done.
Yeah, we move on.
Move on. Nobody coming out for no trauma resources. We're not doing no ongoing groups. Like I say all the time, what I do is for my people by me, but I see more of other people than my own.
Yep.
And we can talk whole thing about trust and confidentiality in the community and blah blah blah. We can talk about all of that, but sometimes that just sounds like, because help is help, and who can give you more better help through your cultural lens than someone who has possibly walked your shoes, who possibly understands your story, where you don't need a cultural translator,
Right.
where you have to sit and explain, this is what I mean when I say this, where you can be your true self and not feel like, oh my God, just scared the hell out of my therapist.
Yeah.
Another thing.
Mikey, can you put that question up from Charles Scepter, please? I think this is a good segue into that. She understands that financial worries can cause mental health problems. How can a therapist assist in this situation, especially if someone doesn't have the connection to anyone who is financially stable or a good credit background? How can these people pay for this help that they so dearly need?
Okay, so and this is one of the things we have to address, right? Most of us have insurance, and your insurance covers your mental health sessions. As a therapist, I know that most insurance carry at least, that's the minimum, 6. If you have your job, your EAP will pay for 6.
Okay.
Most insurance company will cover 6 to 8. Some of us have no cap. It just says mental health. Outpatient, inpatient, it covers without a cap.
Okay.
So just like how you call if they send you to a specialist, how you call to see is this person accepting my insurance, it's the same with us.
Okay.
You can put in there and see is Tanya accepting my insurance. You can even call me because I do free 30-minute consultations. And in that consultation, I get your information and I run it through the panels. So then I can see, okay, I'm paneled with your insurance and it covers for 6 to 8 sessions or there's no cap. So you can see me as long as you want. So I think that sometimes the misperception out there, that having a therapist is for rich white ladies who sit and drink their little rosé and pop their Xanax, yeah, like having a mental health disorder is a rich white disease. No, it's not. It's accessible to us all. Once you have health insurance, and even the instance that you don't have health insurance, sometimes just out anyway, because there's some resources that we have that we can tap into that will cover your mental health sessions.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. It's awesome. Eva, did you have another question for Tanya? Sorry, jumped in there.
Well, no, I was just leading into the what she does with the community. Have you guys? I mean, what are some of like the roadblocks you see in our community? The stigmas, where people are hesitant to coming to you for help or any mental health professional.
So I think for the most part, like just the understanding, just the awareness, right? The awareness part is key. I think a lot of people don't understand truly what is mental health, what is mental health support versus what is a mental illness. I think we use this term so much interchangeably till people always assume that mental health equals a mental illness when actually it's not. Okay, we all have our mental health like we all have our physical health. Now, what condition it is in, that's to be determined, right? And so I think sometimes just that awareness of what it is, what it looks like, how you can experience it, what are some warning signs of having a disorder, what the support look like. Because let's, like I can say, like, let's talk it so. Okay? For real, when it comes to mental health issues or whatever, we blame it on two things. Either somebody not swear you. You know what I mean?
True.
It's you.
Not going to a church, for fast, for the holy bath, all the different things. Then the pastor that said, who even right here, they know better, instead of reaching out for some mental health support to go along with it. So they perpetuate that cycle. There's no biopsychosocial credence of mental health. It's either some type of misfortune that's been plagued on your family because your partner sacrificed you for a big job or did not, or there's some type of a curse. So with that mindset, you see the stigma that you have to go through. So if I have that mindset, what will empower me to say anything?
Yeah.
What will empower me to say, you know what? It's been 2 weeks I've been laying there because I can't get up. I can't take my bath. I can't help my children. I go to work. I can't even focus.
Yeah.
And that's not me being sad. There's no triggers here. Nobody died. Nothing bad not happening. I just don't have it within me. I can't find it. And this is going on. It's pervasive. It's not going 1 week. It's not going 2 weeks. Hear me? Yeah. Who can help me? So sometimes those things, seeing it through a different lens, creating awareness. So I usually like to start at that point, and I really like that point on educating and having, creating that awareness. And it's very important with all community leaders. Our community is it's on a hierarchy. We're very hierarchical. It's either your church, your spiritual power, the church, the pastor, then the old man, then we go through the hierarchy.
Oh, my son had that problem.
Yeah. So sometimes too, with I have found is that you have to have a connection with these people, let them buy into what you're doing and see the importance of what you're doing and collaborate with you so you can break that barrier.
Yep.
Because those people got the ear of the community.
That's true.
If things are they're depressed, if you did not swear their child, who they're going to the church.
Yeah.
So if the church doesn't have a good working relationship with mental health professionals to say, you know what, this is out of my realm. It's like when my clients come to me and somebody's being psychotic. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I cannot prescribe medications, but guess what my girl Princess is? I'm going to write a referral to Princess.
Right.
Go see Dr. Wallace. She can help that. So once we can understand and get down and understand the realm in which we operate and understand that we all got our little lane, it doesn't take you, me referring, somebody to you, doesn't take away from my lane. We can collaborate and better help and support our community.
So I have a question. And my question is, I am not necessarily me, but an individual is feeling depressed, or they're feeling really sad, and they're at a place where they're thinking that they want to be able to talk to a therapist, but the preference is, let me talk to a friend. And then you go to that friend, and that friend is like, "Well, why you gonna go talk to that? You crazy now, man? What happened?" It's almost like, why you going to go talk to? Why you that thing? Why you going to man? Just pray, but and leave it. It's like, then you yourself, that you need the help, but you're deciding not to go to get that help that you need because you're afraid. Because this is the thing, you're probably going to go back to that friend and say, "Oh, I went to see the doctor and said what I could say will to you." So it's like, I want to hear how when and Agatha always, I think I like to use Agatha as an example, because she always say everybody needs therapy.
Yeah.
And I want for you to encourage even me, because therapy is something that, yes, I've done it once or twice, but it's almost like I feel like I'm strong, or I feel like I can go through it. But it's like, how can I buy into the fact that therapy is something good? It's something that you need to decide for yourself and not get the opinion from others that's going to change your mindset on that, because you're going to be the benefactor of that.
Exactly. So, and you said that you're going to be the benefactor of that, because when you get into a place, especially when you get into a deep, dark place like depression, right, where you feel no way out, and talking to people and it doesn't seem to help, and you're trying to use all your resources to the best you know how, right? You go into church, you listen to your scriptures, you reading your books, you talking to your friends, you go into the gym, you eating right, you trying to get your sleep, you doing all these things, and still you can't seem to find any type of relief. Okay? That's the point. Honestly, you really need to find something else. What do I do different? Huh? Let me seek therapy. Therapy can't it can't hurt in this point. You're already almost at rock bottom, if not there already.
Yeah.
So what worse can it be? And I tell people to sometimes be like, well, I went to this person, it didn't really work for me, blah, blah, blah. Most therapists, I just said it, I give 30 minutes free consultation. Most therapists will give you a consultation, because not everybody I can work with. And I understand that. I'm not a fit for everybody. Everybody's not a fit for me. So let's go ahead and do a consultation, see how we vibe, see if like you want to talk to me every week, feed off of that energy, and then we get into it. We're all ladies here. I love shoes. If one pair doesn't fit and the fit isn't right, get another pair. It's not cut in stone. The same way your doctor, when you go to your doctor one time, you feeling that doctor, you go by the next time.
No.
No, you find somebody else.
But the same with a therapist.
All right.
So don't let that deter you. Get your help when it's needed, because also with therapy, it helps, like I said, we provide you with some coping skills. So there's a difference in when you're talking with your friends. When you're talking with your friends, it's more of you just venting, right? You're getting things off of your chest. Are they giving you tools that you can actually use that's practical and long lasting? Sometimes it's a distraction. Be like, you get them telling about that team member, let go do yeah. Or let's go do some baking. Or let's go do this. Let's go watch a movie. It's temporary.
Right.
It's good. It's distraction in the moment. But is this something I can use when those feelings start to come back again? Like my sister is like, yeah.
All right. I'll step out so that Michael can come. There are a lot of questions here. We want to be able to make sure you go through all of the questions. It's a good interaction this evening, but I'm here. I'm listening. I think you have said it even better. We have our one person on this platform who encourages us all the time. to be able to do that. And don't think you can do it alone. It's like, seek help no matter what.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
did want to ask you a question, and I'll go to the viewers. You talk about the churches and the pastors and things of that sort. I have learned over the years that they do offer some sort of counseling therapy. Most
Mhm.
of them say they are, I don't know the term, they're not licensed, but they can, um,
Mhm.
you know, go through the sessions with you,
Mhm.
qualified to go through sessions with you. What is your take on going to a church or a pastor than an actual mental health professional?
And it depends what your needs are, right? A lot of our pastors nowadays have what you call, they go through either courses or they actually have an actual degree in pastoral counseling.
Right.
Okay, so where that's that intersection of spirituality and psychology.
Got
Okay,
you.
so they're in that sweet little medium. Not all of them are though. Okay, and a lot of churches, I have gone through grief counseling through my church. Okay, and grief support groups and stuff through my church. So that's not to negate, the support that you can get from your pastors. Where my take is, or fallback is, when you don't have that expertise. Not all counselors have that little pastoral counseling outfit to it. When that is not your expertise and you don't have it, but you're pushing something else, you're pushing another agenda,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing. I say it all the time. I pray and I go to therapy. I pray and I go to therapy. I believe in my God. I believe what He has done. I believe the miracles He has done in my life in ways He's opening. But I go to therapy because guess what? He's provided those same people. He said, "I'll give you angels to have charge over you," right? So that my angel, my therapist, my angel. You place people in your lives to help you journey this thing called life, get you through the tough moments, teach you how to navigate it. At certain times, those 30 days fast, don't do it. And you have to know that. Because sometimes within that, that's a whole different topic for another day. But within that, sometimes that spiritual, what you call a fixation, can also become a pathology.
Yep. Yep. You hit the nail right on the head. Thank you so much. So, Condair Greaves, your relative, your sister,
Sure.
the holidays are the holidays are a difficult time, especially with loss of loved ones or a job. Tanya, to what advice would you give your clients to cope during this time?
That's she did the triple threat. Okay. So loss of loved ones, grief is real. Just think about it. At the end of the year, we all, some kind of way, miraculously, we all go into this little reflective space. Nobody tells you, said, nah, it's December 15th. Let's start thinking about the course of the year. But it
Mm,
happens naturally because we know the year is ending. And when we
Mhm.
start to do that, we think about not only our successes, we also start to think about our losses. People who we've lost in the physical, people who have passed on, relationships we have lost. We start to think and we start to reflect on that. And we get into this space of grieving. Give yourself permission to grieve. This whole thing we have in our community about be manja, be strong.
mhm.
Mhm.
Strength can come through tears. Strength can come through being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Saying that I can't. Today, I'm not able. Today, I'm just fixated on my dad or whoever passed away. I can't get through it. I'm being really weepy. I'm looking old photo albums. I'm reading old letters, whatever. Honor that. Give yourself permission. Strength comes in being vulnerable. So allow your space to be vulnerable. If there are little rituals that you have to honor that person, whether it's to say a prayer, have a little special place in your house where you maybe have their photo and light a candle, maybe get together with even your other family members and you just joke and talk about, reminisce on that person, whatever it is, just honor that they were here and they left their footprints, not just in this world, but also in your heart you know And then her next thing was job. I'm putting my glass on. Tanya, what?
Job. Losing your job.
What advice do you give your clients to cope during that time? So, okay, and also people who lost a job.
Yeah.
Geez, we know these times we're going through are very hard. Okay, we came on the back end of COVID. We in the middle of a looming recession. Money business haba,
Nice.
and then this whole thing with the season and the commercialism and the expectations. You're enjoying no commercialism. You better have that gift. They only need a tree. You understand? So sometimes the loss of a job, of course, make you feel inadequate, right? You feel like I cannot provide what I want to provide for my kids, even for myself, even making ends meet. It becomes very taxing and very scary. What advice I'll give them? Get in with resources. Go down to your local social services office. Get in touch with a social worker. Get the support that you need. There's support out there, but the same thing sometimes our pride gets in our way. This being strong, I can do this. Food insecurity is a thing. Churches are giving out food. You have places that not asking you for your social security number for those who scared that people can't catch me for welfare fraud. The church will not catch you for welfare fraud, man. Free food, go take it. You see? So sometimes there's support out there, but you wouldn't know if you don't talk and you don't ask. So thanks, Conde, for bringing that up. How do we do? What do we do? And how do we get that support?
That's how you pronounce her name? Conde?
Conde.
Conde.
The Kuiwe, that person named Conde Moncon.
Conde. Thank you. Al Hussein Fadiga. Do you see a lot of co-occurrence when dealing with our population?
Yes, that's our artist. Al, actually, the pictures in the background, he painted them. That's our artist. Yes. So do I see a lot of co-occurrence? Of course, yes. I see a lot of mental health and chemical abuse co-occurrence. Yes, you see your painting in the back. I still got them. Yes. So definitely a lot of co-occurrence disorder, mental illness, chemical dependency. They definitely like do that little sweet, ugly dance. So I do that a lot.
All right. Well, it's been real. Let's see if we can take one more. We have to do a time check. Calvin.
I have a question.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, Eva, then I'll do Calvin.
Because and I've dealt with this, so that's why I'm asking this question. Like when we have loved ones and we to cope with advice to give people to cope with people, their loved one who's going through depression or who's going through mental illness, because sometimes you yourself, you're seeing the person go through it and it affects you. So what kind of support group or how can you help that person, but in that term, help yourself so that you don't kind of fall down that rabbit hole with them and being in that same kind of space with them and not knowing how to detach yourself from that or even to help them cope with it and be more understanding of what they're going through?
Yes. Eva, that's a great point. And I always ask the question before, because I think in our society, in our community, we do a lot of advice giving. We do a lot of delegating. I ask someone, how do you want me to help you? Because help for you may be very different from help from me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I may just want a sounding board. I may not want advice. I may just want you to be in this space. Sometimes maybe I just want you to kind of sit down here. Don't talk nothing. Let's just be here. I need a physical person to sit in this space with me. So a good thing to start off, Eva, with asking, how do you want to be helped? How can I help you? And also let people know, mostly when people come, especially our family, people are coming to us, you know why? Everybody wants to be seen, not physically, emotionally. You want to be seen and you want to be heard. You want somebody else to know that you're here, your pain, I can see it, I can feel it. How can I help you? So that's when we do, oh man, go sit down, man. You know how many people, you know which one they put on, go through what? Man, you know, sis Jenny? Shit. When I tell you about a story, you're just curl up and go sit down and die. You know what I mean? But that's real talk.
Well,
That's how we do it. It doesn't matter about sis Jenny Mountains. My issue right now is a mountain for me.
exactly.
I want you to see that. I want you to acknowledge that. Okay? And then ask me how I want to be helped. You know, sometimes we talk about this thing, especially if you find it as a friend, where you come back to the same issue. What not talk to the get Tanya, we not lecture, not today, one no. Every time, every couple, we come right back to the same spot. What we will do? That's when you introduce the idea, Ma, I love you. I'm here. But you know, I'm not being talking about it here. It be a minute though.
Yeah.
You want to go to a therapist?
Go talk to somebody.
Go talk to somebody, man. Because we not talk, we not try. And then you within yourself catch yourself. We are all very sometimes, hopefully, we are self-aware. Yeah. Right? You're lying. You're right.
Yeah.
We've been with this for a while. I do need to see somebody other than you. And you yourself as a person, Eva, you have to create boundaries. Oh, God. My clients can kill me. They want boundaries. You have to create boundaries. You have to know to tell people no. Because sometimes that starts to affect you and impact you, and you start to get burnt out.
Absolutely.
They start dodging. So they say, oh, they get problems. She won't come around. But it's not so much not wanting to come around, because sometimes you also feel burnt out. You know? So understand your boundaries. And sometimes you may have an issue that's too close to the problem.
That's true.
I tell people all the time, you see what I can say? You can't counsel your own family. You can't counsel your friends.
You're too close.
Because I can't take me out of the issue.
Yes.
Right? It becomes personal.
Yep.
Great advice.
So that's that whole thing about boundaries and whatnot. Don't mean no still not for you. Don't talk, but at least, you know, you can create your boundaries and say, you know what, this is really triggering for me. And let's see what we can do. You can even take that. Let's call some people. Yeah, we want psychology today. Oh, I see somebody. Oh, it's Tanya Greaves. Okay, let's call her, see what she's about.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Awesome.
So we're nearly at the top of the hour. I did say we will take a last question. Calvin A. Johnson says, what are some of the first indications of depression or mental illness? When should be the first time an individual should seek help for mental illness?
Oh, my people are coming through. What's up, CJ? Okay, so as far as indications of depression, okay, a lot of phases. Look at your mood. Look at the mood of the person. What are some indications, early sign of depression? That anxiety piece, you know, people may experience that anxiety. They may be feeling guilty for no reason, hopeless, loss of interest or pleasure in activities, you know, where you find people who may have been very outgoing, now they're starting to withdraw, right? They're not coming around a lot. They don't, that mood swing, you know, some experiencing mood swings, experiencing extreme sadness, not usually caused by any one thing. Can't say, oh, because I lost a job or somebody died, just that general sense of sadness. Okay. As far as the behavior, how may it seem to me, feel easily agitated. You know, can say low and frustration tolerance. The person got quick temper, very irritable, you know, very restless. The same social isolation piece that I spoke about, that shows up. You know, I always say this, our symptoms, mental health symptoms, they ride that fine line with your physical health. So what your mind and your body, that connection is so real. What you feel up in here, you start to feel within your body, you know? And when you have those feelings of depression, that loss of appetite, oversleeping, fatigue, you just feel that physical tiredness all the time, okay? Cognitive wise, you can't even concentrate. You're starting a task. You be on the one thing that boss gave you that morning. At 5 o'clock, maybe even 5:30, not leave. You can't finish the paperwork. That lack of concentration, your mind is just going all over the place, okay? Or slowness in the activities, things that was a no-brainer that you could do like this. Now you find yourself in such a labored effort. You're becoming so slow with it, you know? So all of those are some indications, Calvin, of depression, you know? when should be the first time an individual should seek help for mental illness? You know, when those type of symptoms start to show up. Mental illness rise this line. It says when it goes on for 7 or more days.
Okay.
Okay, so that's your little thing in your mind. If it's a little is blues, I had something happen, something went wrong, I'm mad, I'm sad, a couple of days, 2, 3 days, but I find it's an ongoing issue.
So I should start checking my questionnaire for 7 days, eh?
You been there.
You on here at 20.
You said you must say what?
I said you on here at 20. You said there. I said yeah.
Nobody want it.
Nobody want
Tanya, thank you. I think it's
You're
been,
welcome.
yeah. I mean, I've listened. I think we learn every time. We learn a lot. We learn something new every time.
Absolutely.
And I think you brought it at the end of the year, coming here in December. I think you really like nailed it and said, "This is it. You have to be able to seek help. It's not a bad thing. Don't mind what people are saying. Seek the help you need." We've had a lot of interactions today from the audience. We want to say thank you. Any last words that you want to say to people watching and to all of us before we part with you?
I would just say, mental health is real. Trauma is real. We don't have to live a celebrity lifestyle to acknowledge that or to know that. Let's keep that in the front of our minds, that when we are going through issues, we don't have to do it alone. And strength comes in vulnerability. You have to be vulnerable to be strong. Strength comes in vulnerability. So once you're vulnerable and you acknowledge, get outside of yourself. Don't be too big. You need help. You need help. And you know what? Just like your doctors, we're also bound by the oath of confidentiality. So sometimes I know this thing, oh, you're going to tell other people your business. Who they people going to tell? And I want to know who they people going to tell.
To go lose that Google job.
So need a Google job and license. Your
license.
Your license. And Jai, you talking about the person who was talking before about financial. They went to how who afford not to be able to eat.
Exactly.
For people business.
I know, right?
So this is what I'm trying to say. Strength comes in vulnerability. Get the help when you need it. If you have people around you who need the help, seek out for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
so much, Tanya, for
ladies.
taking up. Yeah, thank you for taking up your time. Indeed, you are a psychotherapist, because I think you psychologize me here enough, Davey. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be able to seek help. And just like you said, if you worry, I think the people and how best could you have something up there to say, even coming to you, it means that you're also in danger of being exposed, losing your license. So of course you're concerned about your license and all of that. It's not about going to gossip about somebody to somebody. So thank you for taking up your time. Sometime next year again, we will reach out again. So you can come and check on it. Hopefully I won't go 7 days before I got to start calling for help for me.
Yes, we lit on the call and we should have called 20 years ago.
All right, Tanya. Thank you so
much, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
You know what would be really great? To
Go
have
ahead.
all 4 of the therapists that we've had
Mhm.
and do a show where people can just ask questions and they decide, depending on their expertise or experience, decide which one of them should answer. I think that will be beneficial to our community.
I think that would be a great idea.
Yes, definitely. Because I mean, it's good. I remember not too long ago when there were some kids and even some people committing suicide in Liberia. And it was a thing that the people were saying, oh, that never happens in Liberia. This is a strange phenomenon. And people couldn't, fathom that somebody would kill themselves. You don't know what's in somebody's mind. Your mindset is not there. So you don't understand. And you probably will never understand what they are going through but to show that empathy and to just say I'm here for you, or I like she said, I to say tell somebody I see you,
Right.
that helps a lot. But our community is like, soon as you say, oh, I want this, me, I'll tell you right away, oh, and I go get my own help. You see, I can be happy all the time. So, okay, I'll help.
You remember that one story about the little boy that tried to hang himself and he didn't succeed in killing himself and the people were beating him? Do you all remember that story in Liberia? The little boy tried
Uh,
to kill himself. Yeah, I don't know if it was last year or a few months ago. He tried to
Wow.
hang himself, and instead of them finding help for this child, they wanted to whip him. They were
Yeah,
saying
wish.
all kinds of things. It was just sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, and you remind me. I like to talk a little bit. I know time is fast spent, but you know what? It is what it is. This is a historical show today.
Mm-hmm.
So
Important.
let me just say, I want to share something personal, and I
oh
want to
God.
share about my, and I like to share these personal stories. I ain't listening to Michael Pan Mama share my story whether he likes it or not. I like to share these personal stories because I see myself, I like to share because I think they help people. I had my sister. My sister died a couple of years ago. My sister died in 2007.
Mm,
My sister was raped during the war,
mm,
and my sisters um, suffered from PTSD. And so when we first recognized that she had the imbalances, talking other, we in Liberia at the time, she's talking out of her head, she's constantly crying,
mm,
went from one hospital to the next, nobody could help her, but she was able to tell us what happened. And I mean, we pursued, the case was pursued to the police, my dad, the court, and all of that. But my sister, because we were in Liberia at the time, like Tanya said, we went from church to church,
mm,
Mm.
church to church to church, swamp area. Some of the places we went that we took, when I sit back and think today, that we took my sister to, some places she went to, they actually had to chain her
Mm.
to keep her from harming herself because she was violent. So
Mm.
she had that PTSD. She had suffered from it so bad, didn't get help from being in Liberia, that it became a serious psychotic episode. That you go, and I tell you this, that it was so bad that there's this other church people that came and say, oh, we know this church in this place in Ghana. My mother actually had to travel to Ghana with my sister to go to a praying group
Mm.
mm,
to be able to, because they felt that, oh, somebody had witch her, or what she had was, the first thing they'll say that she had demons. She had a lot of demons in her. So we
Mm.
had to go for her to seek deliverance and all of that. But the reason why I bring up the story is sometimes people in our community, we frown on that. We don't want to seek the help that's there for us to seek. We quote unquote, we call them crazy, or they're going local, because we don't know the difference until when I came here, and my sister and my mother subsequently followed. Then my sister was able to get the help that she needed. And so with medication, all the demons left. With her being able to follow up with a psychiatrist or psychologist that was able to help her. But it can be very serious in other countries when you're not in a country, like other places where they have psychiatrists, they have people where people are not so judgmental on somebody's state of mind.
Mm.
So that's why I bring it up. It's like, if you have families who's showing these things, you want to encourage them to seek help, because if you're doing it in a Liberian, first of all, the first thing is, oh, I'm embarrassed. How am I going to go tell somebody my daughter crazy? Because that's the first thing, and they're not understanding what you're going through. My parents, they didn't know that. We didn't know it was something that had to do with the stress that she suffered from being raped. So we were just there following whoever were coming and saying, "Oh, I think are demons." And I'm telling you, Lakwasi, there was one era we went to eat Lakwasi. Yes, I am still traumatized by going to that place and seeing my sister in chains. And I told my pa, I said, you know what? Let her really get home. If she won't get all, let her get all. But they play what they get her to actually come and I could see my dad and my mom struggling to be able to go through to watch their child do that. But they do that in Liberia even today. They do that. They don't understand what these children are going through. People are going through mental illness. They don't understand. They may not have the medication or the people who are qualified, and we brain these people. And we have to be very careful. It's like I can tell some people say, how are you able to just sit there sometimes and talk about anything about your life? Because it took a long time to get here. And I'm embarrassed by nothing. It's my story.
Exactly.
It is my story, and I'm going to tell it however way I want to tell it, because I want people to see the strength in the story, but not to forget that you need help. And it took help to get me where I am, to be able to say things freely. I just wanted to bring that up because it's true. Like she said, people don't understand. The first thing was go pray. Somebody now we yeah. So that's what I wanted to share with my sister. But and the next I keep asking somebody need to find a show to interview me on divorce. I have a story to tell you.
Why you get talking on your own show and we get so?
No, but you gotta invite me. You gotta invite me.
You are invited.
Okay. Like when you know, I will send your invitation.
You are invited.
I will send your invitation. I will do special invitation for you. When you want to do it?
Invite me.
When you want to do
it? Write me email. Write email to me.
I don't tell you.
Done.
You are invited. Finish.
It is done.
You don't finish. You invited.
Anyway, this was a good show today. You don't mind people, yeah. It's good for us to have everybody on tonight.
Very important people. Very important show.
Honey, I know how to manage because we are important.
You can't tell the other people that are okay. You can't tell other people that they're not the most important test.
No, you know what, Happy? We have to clean it. We have to own it. We know what we know how they can say. I got that the English where we got it for us.
Listen, I told a friend of mine, it's a privilege to know me.
There you go.
It's an absolute privilege.
I saw that and I said that is so true. It is. I mean, it just sums it up. However,
you have to do that.
I take a letter. That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. If I know you and you know me, it's a privilege for you, not for me. Anyhow, we got Mom May's quotes. We got to do before.
Go ahead.
So, Mom, it's funny that honestly, I don't go through these cards. I literally just pick one and read it. And it seems like every time we have a show, it coincides with the card. I don't know. Maybe that the demons or the angels. I don't know. Anyway, it says show your best version of yourself daily.
Wow. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
True.
Sometimes you can be hard, but you just gotta keep trying.
The best version.
As long as you remember that. Don't forget that.
Yep.
Yes.
And I always say, don't let anyone or anything steal your joy.
Nobody.
Nobody. Anybody.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people out there who are looking for me to show my boyfriend toes. I will show it soon.
Don't nobody care about your boyfriend toes.
We ain't seen toenail. We have not seen one toenail.
I don't even want to see it.
One hair string set. We ain't even see it.
I don't even want to see
it. Been 2 years.
Oh, you can't see? You can't
see? I've been counting. You told me 2 years ago we did our thing on the beach.
Listen.
That Jew you was going to reveal him.
I am so prophetic that in not too long a distant future, all I will be to my wedding. In
10 years from now. Maybe.
Anyway, we had a good time. Do we want to touch? We got 2 minutes. Anything for trending topic? Our president.
Why you want you hear me over there? Let me check this for my own mental health.
Looking at me.
Why is it that John or Ella D12?
Everybody now call it.
Next week, yes. So next week we have two young people. I am so excited about them. They are musical artists. They are gospel musical artists. They're coming to tell us about what they're doing. They're a young couple. They have two young sons coming from Liberia and being here. They're also going to be serenading us with at least 3 Christmas carols.
You lie.
Yes. So next week, Thursday.
I got look at our job routine and show it's nice day Christmas.
I know I like Christmas and I can't sing.
Yes.
You
So
think they will
next
let
week,
us sing a little bit?
they will sing. We'll join them. They're going to be set up. The husband and wife will be here. They will do 3 Christmas carols. They can sing. I'm going to share on the page. This girl went to the monument in DC. The monument in DC.
The monument.
Which one?
There's
like 10 of them.
The monument. The ferret tower one in the middle of the state.
The Washington.
Yes.
The Washington.
There you go. Hey, not catch it.
Okay.
Wrong show. It's a wrong show. This is women with words. This is not a colloquial show.
The woman, but I do colloquial here. So I do here.
No, that is
Yes,
wrong.
I do colloquial here. Anyway, please, and I tell you all the time, I don't speak good English all the time. I go in between it here. But listen, on a serious note, she went there and she sang the USA national anthem. She can really blow. She can sing. Her husband can also sing, and they've agreed to come.
And now let some of our artists there, right? Yeah.
And they will be singing 3. They will be talking about. We'll talk to them first, and then they will be doing 3 Christmas carols. So if you're out there and you like a special Agatha or Eva, if you like a special Christmas carol, please make sure let's share it. Let's send it to them so that they can come. We're looking forward to them.
My favorite is "Oh Holy Night."
Oh Holy Night.
I can't sing, but if they start to sing, I'm gonna have to sing with them.
No. We'll mute you.
Yeah, we got the mute button. You can sing.
So I'll make sure to let them know. Oh Holy Night.
Silent night. I like. Oh well, you got night, so you don't have to do the night.
Michael, you get one song too?
No. I'll just flow.
I get one song. They know how to sing. Don't play fine.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that song in a long time.
Yeah,
don't play
fine.
Let me tell y'all something. Our loving one girl who said that she loved me.
Don't play fine. You ain't no sense.
I still remember that song.
Darling, you know I love you.
No, but on a serious note, let me share our guests right there. I got something to say. So the duos will be here. Thomas and his wife will be here next week. There they go.
Oh,
they'll be here. We're gonna have a full hour with them, telling us all
that
they're doing. And then we're gonna have a live performance by these 2 beautiful.
That's my last meal. I wanted that my cousin.
They have to be Thomas Duo. I don't know if you related to Thomas Duo, but he used to teach accounting at LU. That's his son and his wife.
What up? Because my last name.
I had that white shoes that I posted on the page. You saw that white shoe? Your pa had a pair of that in there.
But on a serious note, you all should challenge yourselves to doing the challenge. This weekend, I'm going to make sure to do the MC Carol song, the challenge. I'm going to do mine.
What MC Carol song?
Who calling you, babe? Who calling you, babe?
Oh, the one where you got to wear 2 socks to fit in my shoe?
Yes, we got to do that challenge.
If you double your size, you still can't fit in my shoes.
Can't fit in my shoes. You don't talk to me, but I'm still good. And I'm working for you, but I'm still good.
So we got to rap it? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's like, I think you got to lip to it and then you can add the music. What you say?
Lip sync it.
People put their mouth in it and letting the song play.
Mouth in it. But I like MC Carol, it is the leading artist right now in Liberia, and just like that other cough, we want to make sure our own babe,
Call me babe.
Call me babe.
Okay, you gotta wear the whole outfit like her too, though.
Let me see where you going now.
No hater.
Us.
No, what is?
No hater.
No hater.
No, the hater will not go on to my wedding day. I know how you manage.
Okay.
I can see you all over
Back to your
there with
wedding
your
day.
hair. Oh,
Yeah, I do it once. I take it out, but it's always here. Once in a while, I did take it out because when I go into very important places like your party, I had to take it out there. I don't want to start hit out to your play. Hold on.
What we holding on for?
What waiting for?
For MC Carol.
But she can me play that in here? Listen.
Baby, no copyright
on the show.
All right, let me tell you about NC Karen. I sent plenty messages to her, but they keep sending me to her manager.
And the manager again do no work.
And the manager not responding to me. So if you are here, we would love to have her. Absolutely love to have her on here. So connect us to MC Carol. I will tell you that we have been able to connect with David Mel. He's gonna be coming sometime soon. Sometime soon. We are very important people here. We don't go, we take everybody. They're important people. Anyway, that's it for the show. Anything, Michael?
No, it's been great. It's been exceptional. I'm glad we're all here to see another holiday. And it's great. It's great. Let's keep trucking along.
Eva?
I finished, Tanya.
You put a link and no good sense. No good sense. I got that.
It was an absolute pleasure having Tanya. I enjoyed the conversation. I learned a lot from her.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the engagement with the audiences. I hope we can have the same level of participation next week because I'll be singing with the duo.
Oh, people.
You know
I'm
what?
going to be on mute.
Yes.
It's okay. I'm going to be on mute, but I will be singing. They said make a joyful
You can
noise.
sing, yeah. We just playing. You can always sing. Don't worry about it.
Don't lie. I guess you know.
If you can sing,
my
don't,
life.
so like, you can sing, don't play fast, so you can see, man.
You know that. Oh, I even know
No,
the
but you
best
know,
one.
let me tell you, one of the things that gives me the ultimate satisfaction is every now and then, if there's a guest that I got that doesn't know, she'll send a text and tell who coming on. Then he said, "Oh, I know that person said." She'll say, "Oh, okay." Then I'll tell her, I say, "Oh, so person." She said, "Okay, what we talking about?" Then I'll tell her, she say, "Oh, okay." She'll be okay. So I'm always looking at the end for this moment when she comes on and say, "Oh, this person was excellent." Then I can say, "Yeah, Glenda, you did good job." Yeah, have a good evening, my people. Yeah, bye.
You're not related to that one.
No, I wasn't. No, but I am not related, but we go way back.
Look at it. I'm coming to find my relative next week. That's all I know. I'll find my own relative.
But I find a relative
Next week. I'll find my own relative.
Accounting LU.
That her brother, her pa had our white shoes. I posted.
Our Christmas show. Oh, hold on. We're live. So we want to talk about the last Thursday. Are we coming on?
Which last Thursday?
It's a regular Thursday.
Yes, and so I think it's just gonna be us. Ask us anything. We don't have any guests for that day. Y'all come. Y'all bring your question there. They will ask about
Let's
wife.
play
About husband. You were about husband. You ask them. You can't get anybody for you to ask.
Oh, thank you. You not give me man.
It would be truth or dare. That's
yes,
what we're playing on now.
There you go. Stop planning it. Stop planning it. Yes. Last Thursday we have no guests. It will just be us. We all will be here. And Margaret will be talking about his own. Ikata will talk about her own, and Eva will talk about own, and me, I will not talk about nobody.
And if you don't talk about it, you will have to take a shot.
You just talking about you showing boyfriend toes.
No, you will be fingers.
Then now you say you got nobody.
I want to start with the fingers.
You say you got nobody. And where the fingers will be there?
With the fingers.
Yeah, bye.
Good night.
Yeah, bye.